Isn't this the cutest thing ever? Do you know what it is? Hi, my name is Jana Kay, and welcome to Flourish, Faith, and Fiber. This is Flourish Creatively podcast number 29. We are moving along, and so grateful, so thankful to have you all with me. I do need to apologize for my very long videos. I realize that they are going a little bit longer than I intended. That is why I kind of I was doing a month at the end of the month, monthly makes, and then I said, no, that's long. I do it every 2 weeks. And then decided to do every week, and they're still really long. So I apologize. I'm going to try to make them shorter and just really show the things that I have been working on during the week. So even if they are a work in progress, but I haven't worked on them during the week, I'm not going to show them. I really appreciate you all watching and sticking with me. I do want, just as a reminder to you all, that down in the bottom of the video, there is a gear icon. And if you press the gear icon, you can change the speed. You can put closed captionings on, change the speed, fast, slow, other. I do that sometimes. I put it on like 1.25 and watch videos that way. I will have to say, other than the music, when people talk, speeding it up doesn't give them that chipmunky sound. And so it doesn't sound weird to me. And so it does speed it up just enough that I get through a lot of videos while I'm working on projects, cooking, baking in the kitchen, those different kind of things. So just as a reminder, you can change the speed. So I do have a tendency to talk a lot, and that is why my videos last so long. So let me tell you about what I am wearing as we get started. This is the Willow Cardigan by Grace at For the Frills. And I've talked about it in other videos that I will link. But yeah, this is the design. I really like it. It is, it comes below my bum actually. So it's a little bit longer length, but nice to just throw on when you wear sleeveless tops and go somewhere where there's air conditioning. It is really nice, and I really love it. I love the yarn that I used, and you can find that all in my previous videos. So let's get started with other finished projects. All right, my first finished project is what you saw at the very beginning of the video. This is a taco. If you guessed that it looked like a taco, you are correct. Now, I will say that this main color yarn was not maybe not really a taco kind of color, especially if you eat corn tortillas or flour tortillas. Probably could have been a little lighter, but it's what I had, and so I used it. And so so this is a drawstring bag that looks like a taco. So you put everything inside there, drop it in, and drawstring together the top of your taco. And so so I thought it was really cute, and I made another one. I made this one. This is a bee drawstring bag. It is, as you can tell, shaped differently, and it's a really unique design because you start with a rectangle and then you start going around and around to build the bag up. And then this honeycomb and the bee were made separately. Don't look too close. I did not do a great job with the bee and sewing it together. I'm thinking maybe the next time I'll buy like a pin or something that's a bee. There's a lot of those out there. But yep, so you drawstring it up, put different things inside, and there you go. The drawstring bee bag. I really like it. I think it is so cute. Both of them. I love the taco. It is my favorite, I think, out of the two that I've made. So where did I get these adorable patterns from? Well, let me tell you. Heather at Strings and Thread wrote a book several years ago called Drawstring Dice Bags. It is called Fantastic Fantasy Drawstring, or maybe just Dice Bags. Anyway, she and her family love to play Dungeons and Dragons, and she was thinking, I'm making these so they can carry dice in the bag wherever they go. But realize that only a few people understood dice bags and what that really meant. So she reworked her book that she released on Amazon and called them Fantastic Fantasy Drawstring Bags. And she asked if anyone wanted to make any of her drawstring bags. She would send them the PDF of the book of the patterns, and if we could make them and talk about them. So I said, sure, I'd love to. There were a few designs, not just these two. There are a couple other ones. There's a monkey, there's a lion, there's one that is like a box of French fries. There are so many cute ones. And if you've ever watched Heather at Strings and Threads, you know she loves dragon. She's got a couple of dragon and baby dragon hatching out of an egg drawstring bags. Very, very creative drawstring bags. And I really loved her patterns. Her patterns are short, so I got the PDF and was able to look at my computer and follow the patterns, understand what she was asking. I do have to say that the patterns are very brief. So if you are new to crocheting, then there are some things you're expected to know. And like, for example, when you're done with the stitching, so when I was done with the taco part, the brown part, or maybe the green too. Anyway, when I was done with the black bag, it says finish. Well, you need to understand that that means you slip stitch and tie it off and cut your thread. That's what finish means. So there's just a couple of places like that, but the rest of the pattern, very straightforward, very easy to follow, and great, I have to say, great designs. I was so impressed that how this one started off with the rectangular bottom, just going back and forth, and then making it into the bag, the circle. Very, very well designed and interesting patterns. I will say that I did change a couple of things. She calls for paracord. I don't have paracord. I didn't want to go buy paracord. I wanted to learn how to make an I-cord. That's what it's called, an I-cord out of crochet. So that's what I did. I practiced making an I-cord and did that for both of these. So the one thing I did change, not on this bag, but on this one, is the double crochet row where you weave the cord in and out of. On this bag, instead of doing double crochet in every stitch, I double crocheted, chain one, skipped one. double crochet, chain one, skip one, so that my cord would fit through it. I think a paracord, which is harder and thinner, would have done just fine if I had double crocheted in every stitch. But I knew that I was making this after making the taco. It was thicker, more difficult to get that through. It still did, but more difficult to get that through. So when I made this one, I decided to do the double crochet and skip, chain and skip a stitch so that I could fit my cord through. That's the only changes that I made. I did this one in brown because it's the meat. And you know, when you eat tacos, the meat is, well, everything, but the meat is all falling out. And then I did this one, chose yellow. And I'll tell you a little bit about the yarn I used, but I want to finish by saying, please go check out on Amazon. The link is down below, Heather's book. Please go check it out. Support her. Look, I know self-published books can be quite expensive, but her book also comes in a Kindle edition that is well worth the price of these bags, of the patterns. It's well worth that price. And as I said, I was able to follow just the PDF. I think each design is, I want to say, no more than 3 pages, including the picture. I think it would be very easy to follow if you get the Kindle version. And it's definitely worth the price. But if you can support her, order a book, that would be wonderful as well. I want to include this in to hashtag Christmas extravaganza that K&K Crochet, that is KK and Kristen, are putting on for the month of July, because I think these would make a fantastic gift. If you know anybody that really loves, like I do, Mexican food, this is the cutest drawstring bag. French fries, as I said, there's a lion, there's a cat. I think it's on a yarn ball. There's the dragons. There's Eye of Sauron, if you were into Lord of the Rings. She's got such a variety in her book. And I think they would make great Christmas gifts for people in your family, because there are so many different designs that somebody likes cats, you can do the cat bag. Somebody loves bees or honey. In fact, I know KK and Kristen are partial to bumblebees. Love y'all. And if you know people, like I said, that love their French fries, love their tacos, there's so many, love dragons like Heather. There's so many wonderful patterns in there that would make great gifts. They are not difficult. There are some, I think the dragon that does help to know how to do amigurumi, but really these are just bags. Very easy, and I think would make great gifts. And I'll try to be as creative as KK and Kristen, but yes, you can put dice in here, but you can also put a whole lot of other things in these gift bags. You can put gift cards, gift to different places. You can put this one, you could put honey. I would wrap it in plastic first, but you can put honey in the bag. You could put a gift certificate to a Mexican food restaurant, whether that's a restaurant or a fast food shop. So many different things that you can do with these bags as you give them as gifts. And yeah, I really love the design. So let me tell you lastly about the yarn that I use. So for this one, the dark brown and light brown and the red were made with Crafter's Secret 100% cotton yarn that I found at Hobby Lobby. The green, I think, I don't have the label, but I'm pretty sure it was I Love This Cotton from Hobby Lobby. And I used a 5mm hook for all of it, the whole thing. In fact, the same with this. So this bag, the black is Crafter's Secret, the yellow is Crafter's Secret, the white is Peaches and Cream that I found from Walmart. That's what I used. Again, still used a 5mm hook the whole way through. So those are my finished objects. As I said, please check out Heather. Check out her channel. I'll link it below, and check out her Amazon shop, or her book that is on Amazon that I will also link below. Please consider supporting her and ordering a book from her. All right. So that's my finished objects. We're going to move on to whips. What works do I have in progress? First of all, I showed the yarn last week. This is the colorway called Rosalinda. And this is the tag, Rosalinda. It is Malabrigo yarn, and it is their chunky. Let me move the tag. Oh, there we go. It is their chunky yarn. It is 104 yards or 95 meters, and they call for a US 10, 11, or 6 to 8 millimeter needle. It says NS. So I'm thinking that means needle size, hook size as well. And it's 100% bulky weight merino wool. It does not say superwashed merino wool. So there's the tag. And the colorway is $3.98 Rosalinda. This is, again, what the color looks like. Very pretty. And I have cast on and started my Ross hat. So the Ross hat is just ribbing, straight stocking net all the way around, and then he does a 5-point decrease so that it comes out looking like I don't know, pinwheel kind of shape, star shaped. There you go. And so yeah, so that's how the colorway, there's the bottom, that's the ribbing, but that is how it is working up. Really pretty. I love this. I like his pattern. It is a great beginner pattern. He does a tutorial that I will link below. Very good tutorial, very good pattern. As I said, when I was learning how to knit, I did washcloths, then I moved to his hat pattern. I am using 8.0 circular needles, 16 inch in diameter circular needles. And this is Knit Pro. It's Knit Pro because I got them in South Africa. And I forgot the name. I'll just put it on the screen, the name of these particular needles. I have a Carbons interchangeable set, but this is not what this is. It is interchangeable. I don't know if you can see that. It is the interchangeable, so I just used the cord from my interchangeable set, but bought these separately from the set. So yeah, that is my hat that I'm making with the Malabrigo yarn I bought at the House, or Haus, H-A-U-S, of yarns that I went to with Mary from Slow Crochet. All right, so that's my first whip. Second whip, I have wound by hand both skeins of yarn and cast on my sock. So there you go. I am almost done. I think I've got like 15 rounds done on the ribbing. It is a knit 2 purl 2 ribbing, just doing the crazy Sock Ladies vanilla sock pattern, and going to change after the ribbing to this lovely color. There you go. Both of these come from my Yarnable subscription from Hypnotic Yarns, and hang on and I will get the colorway names. All right, the green is called Mossy Hollow. It is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. She calls it her plush sock base. And here is her Yarnable label. And then I dropped it. And those are the specs. Okay, so if you're interested in the Yarnable subscription, then I would suggest getting on the waiting list. Go to her website and sign up. You'll be on her email mailing list, but you will get a notification when she is taking new people into her yarn club. So that is called Mossy Hollow. It is from, I didn't say this, it's from the August 2023 subscription box. The blue is called Pollen Party. Again, on her plush sock, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. So there are the specs on, and the name on this one, Pillow Pollen Party. It didn't give me the date on this one when this one came out. And again, by the way, her her website is on the label right down at the bottom. All right. So I'm assuming it came from like a spring, either 2023 or 2024 subscription box. But there you go. So I'm looking forward to casting this on. After I wound them up, I was like, do they really? I thought in Hanks they look like they might go together, but you know what? I'm gonna go for it. And after the cuff, gonna change over to this color and do the heel in this color and do the toe in this color, the foot and the toe, and just see what it looks like. That's the nice thing about vanilla socks, is try it. See what it looks like. I would say if you don't like it, you can rip it out, but that puts fear in me. Ripping out knitting. It is nothing like ripping out crochet, although I think experienced knitters might not feel that fear like I do. Maybe they feel more fearful ripping out crochet. I don't know. But for me, ripping back does put a little bit of fear in me. So probably even if I don't like this color combination, I'm just going to stick with it and make a pair of socks anyway. But that is my second work in progress. Let's move to my last work in progress. I think I start turning before I stop talking. Sorry about that if I do, but my last work in progress is my Zazura shawl. So I'm going to show you how much progress I have made. So this is where I left off down here. So I have gotten that much done. But if you look, it is getting very, very long. There you go. It is becoming quite long, quite a long, but not deep shawl. But I'm thinking that when I block it, well, it looks deeper than I thought, but when I block it, that it will actually stretch down and be longer as well. So my goal is to get this ball of yarn finished by August 1st so that I can start the second ball if I need to. I feel like it is getting quite big, but not, I mean, it's big enough to wrap like a scarf. But I don't think it's really big enough to, if I ever wanted to wear it as a shawl. It just needs to be a little bigger. So we'll see if I go to the second ball of yarn or not. But isn't that design beautiful? So it is a collab with Reggie at J Hook Crochet. Again, she is trying to get her patterns out there, noticed, and I volunteered to help by making the design. She did send the pattern out free to those who wanted to make one of her designs. You told her which one. She sent you the pattern. So I did get the pattern for free, but I think it is beautiful and well worth the money to pay for her designs, or any of her designs. This one, the Zerzura shawl, or any of them. I have done a couple of make-alongs with her. She is a beautiful designer. She's a beautiful lady and a beautiful designer, very feminine. And yeah, she loves yarn. Check out her channel. She still is designing a lot, is getting yarn from different, I think she's got a couple of different yarn subscriptions, but she also just kind of goes on to Etsy and different places and looks up yarns and tries them out. So she will also put videos out from various yarn dyers that she finds as she's researching. So check out her channel as well. Let me tell you about the yarn. Again, I turned while I was talking. All right, I am using Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek DK. I think they have a soft and sleek that's worsted, a 4-weight. This is a 3-weight, but even though they call it a 3-weight, according to the specs that are given in the back, it actually can be classified as a 2-weight yarn. And it is $4.99, but they always have their 30% off sale. I think, every 2 weeks? I'm new in the US, but I think it's every 2 weeks. You can correct me. It is 100% acrylic, low pill acrylic. So that means when you wash it, it shouldn't get all those little pill bumps on there. It calls for a 4mm hook, but because I wanted it drapey, I am using a 4.5mm, my tulip 4.5mm hooks. If you know me, you know I love pink. That's part of the reason I got tulip, but also because I watched a video, I can't even think whose it was, a while back, and they were saying that it's really good for those that have a pencil grip because it keeps your thumb in place right there. So I thought I'd try it, and sure enough, I really like it. I don't really need ergonomic hooks, but I like it and wanted a set, and so got these. I am a boy hook type head user, and Tulip has that same, there you go, that same type of head. Not exactly, but close. It's not the inline. And so whatever the opposite is, so that's what I use. All right, those are all my works in progress. Let's move on to upcoming plans. So I'd still have plans to work on booties for the rest of this month. I need to get for Lisa's at Happy to Hook Creations for her make along where she's doing the greeting cards a month that I've just joined into. I need to get a pair of booties done with a puppy dog head. So we'll see how that goes, if I can get that done by next week and show you, because it is the end of July and need to get that done. I have started reading the book for hashtag hooking up with books. Haven't decided, just started the book. Haven't decided on what project I'm going to make, but we'll keep you updated on that. And then I'm still going to make more washcloths and maybe a few more coasters. So Friday, we are going house hunting again. So yeah, appreciate your prayers that we find the neighborhood in the house that God has planned for us. So thank you all for joining me for this fiber part of my videos. We're going to move on to the faith part. Let's get to our Discovery Bible study. So our Bible study comes from Luke chapter 21, verses 1 to 4. It's a short passage and a very well-known passage. This is what it says. He looked up and saw the rich dropping their offerings into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow dropping in 2 tiny coins. Truly, I tell you, Jesus said, this poor widow has put in more than all of them, for all these people have put in gifts out of their surplus, but she, out of her poverty, has put in all she had to live on. And as I was reading this passage, the idea of control has come up quite often recently in Bible studies, in sermons, the Old Testament, and I feel like that's kind of where it's leading here in the New Testament, in this passage. And so I really see 2 different thoughts about God in this passage. And the first one is, God isn't in control. He doesn't really care about me. And the second is, God is in control. He loves me. The ones that were putting in out of their surplus wanted to be in control. And the widow who put in all that she had to live on knew God was not only in control, but that he cared for her and that he would provide for her. And so it led me to some thoughts about people. I think it's out of, and I'm speaking from experience, from myself, I think it's a little bit out of selfishness that we don't want to let God be in control. We're not willing to even sacrifice in this sense, like the widow did. And trust God that he is in control, but really trust God that he cares for us and provides what we want. In church, there was a passage, they read the passage about the feeding of the 5,000, and it said that the disciples passed out food as much as the people wanted. Not what they needed to eat, but as much as they wanted. I got to thinking about tithing, and the people in the story were giving out of their surplus. I'm not sure they were really even tithing. And then this lady gave way beyond her tithe. And most people understand tithe. If you've been in church for a little while, even if you have not, tithing is a word that most people have heard. And the Bible talks about, in the Old Testament, Moses giving 10%. And that's kind of where the idea comes from, is giving, and 10% it's not really a commanded amount, but it is a standard of what people that belong, that have membership in a church, tend to give. So all that to say, as I was thinking about my tithing, I got to thinking about how and maybe you all, maybe most people are like me, how I tithe is that I look at the paycheck, take out 10%, set that aside and say, yes, that's what I'm giving. And we're always encouraged to give the first 10%. But then I budget with the rest of it. I don't budget with my tithe. I take the tithe out and then think, okay, this is now what I have left to live on, or my family, has left to live on. And then I got to thinking, what if I budgeted with the tithe all just in my budget without taking it out, whether that's writing it down or mentally taking it out? What if I budget with my paycheck and then ask God, what do you want me to give you, and where in my budget do I sacrifice in order to give my tithe? Now, I think it comes down to trusting. That's pretty much, and control. That's pretty much why I don't budget that way. I take the 10% out and then budget the rest for everything else, whatever that is: rent, groceries, water, electricity, clothing, yarn, whatever it is. I tend to budget after taking the 10% out. And I think it says a lot about my wanting control and coming down to, do I trust God like the widow in the story? Probably not. Am I willing to give it all? Probably not. But as I said, do I trust God? Is it evident not only in my giving, but in my life, in scheduling? Do I schedule things and then go, okay, God, what am I giving up to be with you or to serve you? Whether that is having my quiet time or being with people and serving others. Do I live in light of my trust in God? Do people see my trust in God? Do I live in a way that says, I love you, I will follow you, I want to be obedient, and I trust you because you are my good shepherd? In fact, Psalm 23 says, the Lord is my shepherd. I don't lack for anything. I have all that I need, all that I want in some versions. So how am I living in light of that? And then it led me to thinking about anxiety. And the reason I thought about it is I get a weekly, my husband and I get a weekly prayer guide from the KC Underground movement in Kansas City. It is a movement of home churches, and they fast and pray every Tuesday and put out this prayer guide. And the prayer guide is, funny enough, God is great, so I don't have to be in control. And they wrote and said that when we have concerns, these thoughts tend to consume us. And then we get anxious. We worry about those things. Now, I am not talking about those who have a debilitating illness with anxiety. But we all get anxious. We all worry. We can use that word to describe our feelings because to me, I'm worried. But when I'm anxious, it's like another level of worry. And this is what they said in this prayer guide. It says, your Father knows what you need, every need. And when we become preoccupied with what we feel are our needs, we lose sight of God's sovereignty. He knows what we need and is in control of all things. And then they add, and He cares for our needs. He cares for us. I think the widow probably was a little anxious, but she rested in God's care, His love for her, and that He would provide for her. So this prayer guide comes from July 23rd, 2024. I will put a link. They do have a YouTube channel, but also to their website. I think you can just sign up for these prayer guides for free. Honestly, I get them from my husband, and I think that's what he's done. But he prints them out for me. But I want to show you, and I hope it's okay, here are some passages to consider if faced with anxiety. So there you go. There are some passages of scripture if you want to take a screenshot and just meditate and ponder over these. And I would say also, because I do this, I ponder over Psalm 23. We hear it a lot at funerals, but really it is about our journey through life with Jesus. And He is a good shepherd. He leads us. He knows us. He provides everything that we would ever need and want. We see that in the feeding of the 5,000. So I hope this is an encouragement to you. I hope I've given you some questions to think about. And so thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you again next week. But in between, keep an eye out for Bougie Crochet Wearables and my Monday devotions. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me all the way through. Bye-bye.